name is Henry Shankman, and I'm going to talk to you about a rather serious topic for most of you, and that is looking at death. I have received an email from my doctor and good friend, Jeff Gordon, and I'll quote him. The How to Adapt video was memorable and supportive. Well done, Henry. At the risk of straining our relationship, I want to suggest yet another video. What I was thinking for this topic, looking death in the eye, was that you articulate what you must have felt when you announced your coming end to all your friends and family. In my experience, you were unique. You must have felt that you'd come to the end of the line, yet no sorrow, just passion, carpe diem. Seize the day. You made up your mind to be strong and move on, while I think perhaps you withdrew a little into your own safe place. But first you had the urge, the need to say hello and goodbye to everyone you love, and you reached out. Please reach back and replay the feelings and experience those intense moments for us scared people, so we too can better relate to the threat of death. This is something I know you can do. That video should be something unique and valuable. My journey begins several months before the incident or the behavior that Jeff Gordon was referring to. In June of 2009, I was in a situation. I had what I call the first fatigue event, suffering for long-term bone marrow disease, and for the couple of years before that, it changed from making too much blood to not enough and having anemia. And then I had what I call the first sudden fatigue event. It's a very nasty thing, and we're not going to go in and talk about all the organ recital of all the symptoms. But just I'll just tell you that the symptoms were bad. They were aggressive, they were fast-moving, I lost weight, and a whole bunch of other things. It was scary. So I went back to see Jeff. I went back to see Dr. J and said, what's going on? He said, well, let's start taking your blood again. So I went in on the weekly blood draws, and this lasted for about a month and a half. And he said, Henry, it's not looking too good. I'm going to send you back to your hematologist. Meanwhile, things got so bad, I bought a scooter. I'm riding on the scooter. You know, it's not good. And what I remembered, the last thing, 11 years before when I saw the hematologist, he said, hey, you know, the disease you've got probably won't affect you at all, but there is a possibility it could go into AML. That's acute myeloid leukemia, which is a nasty, nasty, fast-moving cancer. Nobody survives, and you're gone within 6 months. Unfortunately, I could not get an appointment with the hematologist for a month and a half after I saw Dr. J. My weight continues to drop. I mean, it was very, very dramatic, very, very scary. And my wife and I were coping with this, and we remembered his saying that it could be AML. So we looked up all of the symptoms, and sure enough, every symptom I had fit the acute myeloid leukemia. Well, I was afraid I wasn't even going to be able to live long enough to get to the secondary appointment and see the hematologist. So Jean and I were sitting and talking, and we were looking at this and said, what do we do now? And I says, well, there's one thing that I really want to do. I don't want to scare the family, but I also don't want them to get a surprising notice that I'm gone. It's a tough quandary. So I made the decision to call all of my loved ones. I picked up the phone and said, hey, it's Pops. Things aren't going so well, and I may not be around for another 6 months. That's scary. What I want to do is really clear the ground. if I'm not here, what I want you to do is understand I really love you. I really care about you. I'm going to miss you. And I don't really want to be remembered when I'm sad and failing and unable to recognize you. And I also want to know if you have any issues with me or any issues that need to be resolved so you won't have any regrets. Well, I had an outpouring of love that was absolutely fantastic. Every person that I called, my family, my friends, my coworkers, my collaborators on my projects, everybody just nobody was pitying. Nobody was really overly sympathetic. They were empathetic. They were giving me what I needed. And what I needed was an assurance that what my belief inside of myself was complete, that I've lived a good life and I'm leaving a good legacy. That's what Dr. Gordon is referring to and what he wants me to tell you about. Now, how did I get there? What are the kinds of things that happened to make me feel this way? And by the way, I'm going through it again. It's 2 years later, and I've got something going on right now that's scary. I don't know what the end result is going to be, but that's not important. The important things are that I know that I've lived a good life. I know that I have completed the legacy that I wanted to leave, and it will survive me, and I'm assured of its ability to do so. I know that I'm loved by all of my family, and I'm surrounded, and I have no issues that are outstanding. What else can I ask for? Mortality is something that people approach in a very individualistic way, and it can be very, very, very scary. Many people believe that, birth is a miracle and death is a tragedy. There's certain Essenes and other people who believe that you were born into sin, life is terrible, and the end is wonderful. And the celebratory event is your death. I'm taking the middle of the road. I personally remember nothing or very little before I was 3 years of age. So I came from somewhere and I don't know where. And I'm going somewhere else and I don't know where. And in the between, in that time, I've had a period of time of self-awareness, self-consciousness, and the establishment of my own system of viewing at myself and relating to others. So I don't fear death. It's natural. It's part of the whole program. What is critical for me, very, very critical for me, is that I want the two tracks that lead to death to correspond, if they will. One is that you have the appropriate amount of longevity to what you were supposed to have in genetic makeup and what you can do to make it that far. And the other is that you have a quality of life and awareness up to that period of time to where you feel like you still can enjoy every day. I don't want to, and I have a real fear of just becoming a food processor. By that I mean, and I've seen people, and you know of them, who sit in an old folks home like this, and they're there, and somebody puts food in their mouth, and they digest it, and then they go in and somebody takes a diaper off and they wipe their ass. I don't want to go there. So, what do I want to do? I want to keep living as long as I can and as long as it's enjoyable and I'm being productive and I feel that I'm a contributor. In fact, I've even gone so far to say even after I die, as part of my legacy is I'm going to send my body to a medical school so that future doctors can learn by getting me ready to return to where I came from physically. I'm not going to get into philosophy. I'm not going to get into religious or spirituality. This is all here. But the spiritual thing that I have learned in life, and this is the lessons I want to pass on to you. Be happy with who you are, make your life as possible as you have, and tell everybody that you love them, and make sure that you're leaving behind no regrets for anybody else or for yourself. It's been a pleasure talking to you.